There she is.
Sorry, I was having some problems.
That's okay. Welcome, Pia.
Thanks,
How
Jeff.
are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. We're having a busy night.
Yeah, awesome.
So, what do you have to share with us tonight?
I just wanted to share my hypnotherapy session the very first time I went in, and I saw my dad. Well, I actually saw my daughter that had passed away, and I saw my dad. Well, the first one I want to share is my dad and me didn't have a very good relationship. It was kind of a volatile relationship, and we had a really bad argument before he died. And there's a lot of things I didn't get to say to him before he passed on. And I didn't talk to him for about 8 months probably before he passed on. And then I find out he died suddenly of a heart attack. I then started having dreams of him coming into my dream state, and this started happening regularly, like every single night, that I would have the exact same dream every night where I would feel like I was picking up the phone and he would phone me and I'd be like, "What do you mean? You're dead. Like, how could you be calling me?" And then the next night I'd run into him at the store. I'd run into him somewhere else. And the next night I'd run into I'd pick up the phone. It was always the same, and it went on and on and on to the point of every single night for 3 weeks. I thought I was going nuts after his death.
Let me
So
stop you.
anyway,
Let me stop you for one
yeah.
moment. I'm curious if this was a dream where you were sorting out your life with him or a contact dream. So, did he look
Yeah.
young and youthful, or did he look like the age that he transitioned at?
No, I think it was different every time. But I remember getting mad at him every time, and every single dream I got mad and I said, "Why are you lying to me? You're supposed to be dead. Why are you here? You're supposed to be dead. Why are you?" And it was a constant on a loop. Like I knew he had died, but was seeing him alive. And it was really strange, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who to talk to about it. So fast forward a few years. It kept going on for years. So I went to Bali. I wasn't doing really well, and I wanted to sort myself out. So I went on a spiritual retreat to Bali.
Mhm.
I was staying at this place, and this lady who had happened to live beside me um, was practicing hypnotherapy, and I had never done anything like that before. And she said, "Well, we need some people to practice on. Do you want to come forward and be one of the people that we practice on?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'm willing to do anything at this point.
Cool.
I've come here to heal myself." So I went to the retreat. And I did the first session, which is my daughter, but when I was coming out of the first session, which is unbelievable, I saw my dad in that session, and he was peeking around a tree, and he was kind of like this, "Hello, hello, will you talk to me?" And I looked at him, and I looked back, and I looked at him again in the session, and I was like, no, I was still mad, and I didn't want to have anything to do with him. So I came out of that session, and we ended up having lunch with a bunch of mediums, hypnotherapists, psychics, all that stuff. While we're all sitting around the table. And I said, "It's really weird. I just went and had the first session." And I said, "I saw my dad in that first session." And it's like he was standing behind a tree, and he was kind of looking sheepishly at me, trying to get my attention. And the lady, I didn't even know her, but she was sitting at the end of the table. There's about 20 of us sitting there. And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Yeah, he's here right now. And he's poking everybody on the shoulder. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Can somebody try to get my daughter's attention and get her to talk to me?"
Wow.
And the medium said, and I'm like, "Really? Like, I didn't know." And she's like, "Yeah, you should go back in for an afternoon session." I'm like, okay. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to talk to him or not, because the way everything was left, like there was a lot of anger, a lot of stuff, like, in my childhood and everything. So, which I thought I'd work through. So I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll go talk to him. So instantly, as soon as I went into my hypnotherapy session, which I'm a clinical hypnotherapist now, I know that your subconscious when in a hypnosis state attaches to your higher self, which takes you into another realm. So what was happening there is when I as soon as I got into hypnosis, he was instantly there. Instantly. I was like, I saw him, and she said, okay, we're going to go in with your childhood self, and we're going to go in with you. You're going to hold hands and you're going to go talk to him, and he's going to listen to everything you have to say. So anyways, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I walked in front of him and I saw him right there. And I thought I had forgiven, but I guess in my subconscious mind or my soul, I hadn't. So I just let him have it. And he stood there with his head down, and he took all of it. And then he looked up at me and he said, yeah. He said, I'm sorry. He goes, I'm so sorry. He says, I've learned a lot here. And he goes, it's different here. You don't understand. He goes, I understand now what I've done, and I want to apologize. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm sorry for everything I've done. He goes, I've tried to show you something, and this is what I needed to show you. And then all of a sudden, I was kind of sucked into this place where I was shown his childhood. I saw him as a little boy in a field, and I didn't even know any of this at the time. I got sucked into this place where I saw him as a boy, and then I saw his father, so my grandfather, and this was in Europe, in Holland, and he was working the farm. He had 8 brothers and sisters. And he kind of got worked like a workhorse, never any love. He had to care for all the brothers and sisters and all this kind of stuff. And I saw that he was sort of abused. And I started, like, I almost like saw through his eyes what he saw and what he felt. And instantly I saw that and I felt, oh my God, now I understand. So I felt compassion, I felt forgiveness, I felt love, I felt all these feelings. And so I came back through, and he says, this is what I was trying to show you. This is what I couldn't love you kids, because I wasn't shown love myself from my parents, right?
Yeah,
So
makes
he was
sense.
showing me through his dad. So anyways, he was trying to show me all this time he couldn't move on. He said he couldn't move on to another place until he stuck around. And that's how I know now, all these years, there was unfinished business. There was a lot of stuff that happened. And he goes, I really want to show you now what a real dad would have been like. So I saw myself as a little girl, and my sister was brought in too, and we were sitting on his lap, and he was, you know how a dad just bounces you up and down on his lap like little kids and stuff like that. So I was doing that, and just like a really nice dad, and playing and stuff like that. And then he came in to say, please, show your sister. And then he turned and said, also to your mother. And he had a message for my mother as well, and my sister. Then what happened is he leaned down in front of me and he said, I'm so sorry for everything I did. Then I had to have forgiveness. So I handed him this box of unconditional love, and he opened it, and it was unconditional love and forgiveness. And I could see him crying, and he said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this gift. And then I kissed him and said goodbye, and I almost could see him, like, he just rose like up into this light. And that was 2015. Yeah, so that would be 16. That would be 6 or 7 years ago.
Now,
I've never.
is this the Bali the time that you went before your NDE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so I haven't had the dream since. I've maybe seen him in my dream two times. And before I went to Bali, he was visiting me in my dream, like constantly. So now I know when I after that hypnotherapy session, when that was real, like I sent him forgave him and sent him into the light. And then I guess he had to go transition somewhere else because I haven't seen him in my dreams since.
Do you feel like you've got closure now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's
Hmm.
no hard feelings, there's nothing. I talk to him all the time now, and I can feel him around me. Like, even, like, he came in to help me in that near-death accident when he wrapped himself around me in the car.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. For those of you who don't know, Pia was on probably like what, a month ago? How long ago was it that
Yeah,
we did
probably,
your podcast?
yeah, probably about a month ago.
She was on a month ago, and it was I think your car was falling down the side of a mountain, right?
Yeah, I
And
rolled my car 7
she
times.
rolled her
Yeah.
car off the mountain in Canada. And do you remember what number your podcast is? I don't remember.
No, I don't
It's in
remember.
the 600s probably because it's
Yeah.
not too far back, but you guys may want to check it out. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to say, she's podcast 333 or whatever. Actually, maybe I could see real quick if I can see on this computer here. If I go to brighten it up a second, see, might be able to see. I can scan really quickly. And I don't want to take everybody's time up, but
Well, I just want to tell you quickly, for anybody that's lost any loved ones or any babies, which I did. I had a baby die on me
mhm.
too. And that first session in the hypnotherapy before my dad, I also saw my baby.
Mm.
And so she came through, and this was very devastating for me. So I also saw her, and she was right in front of me, and she was growing up on the other side, and I actually saw her in the field playing and all that. So I know I can see where people go, and I can see where the kids go. And she came, and she actually told me, she said, "Mama," I can still hear her standing there. "Mama, you stop crying. You stop crying now."
Mm.
And she made all these funny faces like this and started shaking her butt and everything. And she was smiling and laughing. She said, "No more crying, Mama. No more crying." And she was like about 5 years old, and she was tall, and she had long brown hair, and she was beautiful. And she was playing with my uncle who had passed on. I could see her in a field. They showed me. So it was beautiful. It was just beautiful.
That's great.
So
If
yeah.
people want to contact you and, talk to you more about it, what's the best way to reach you?
My new website's up, so I'm at Universe Hypnotherapy, and it starts with a Y. So YO, because I believe all the answers are you.
Hmm.
Universe, so universehypnotherapy.ca.
Okay, great. You're still in
Yeah.
Canada, right? What is it? Winnipeg? Is that where you're at? Or what? No,
No, not Winnipeg. No way. That's too cold. Vernon. So BC, British
BC,
Columbia,
British
Canada.
Columbia. All
Yeah.
right, Pia. Well, thank you so much for coming back and sharing with us. And that was a great story, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Jeff. Thank you very much.
All right, you have a great night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.